Hey friends, today we're going to talk to you about puffy jackets. Everybody needs a puffy jacket if you're hunting out west. You need that lightweight insulating layer for when you're up there glassing in the wind and you need to stay there and glass for long periods of time so you can find what you're looking for so you can go after it. Or if you're just sitting down waiting for the wind to change, it's cold, you need to throw that layer on to stay warm so you can stay out there and stay in the game. Today we're going to go over 3 different options. We have the Born Primitive Tundra Lite jacket, the Stone Glacier Cirque Lite jacket, and the Born Primitive Heavyweight Tundra jacket. They're all purpose built for different purposes, and we're going to kind of go over when I would use which one and why you might go with one over the other. So first off, we're going to go over the 2 Born Primitive jackets. This one is the Born Primitive Lite. The main difference between the Born Primitive Lite and the Heavy is simply the amount of insulation that's in the jacket. I'm going to throw this on real quick. These are all extra large jackets, by the way. They all fit me well. The sleeves are long enough. Sometimes I'll have trouble with sleeves not being long enough for my arms, which is kind of irritating. But this is the Tundra Lite jacket. This is the Tundra Heavy. And like I said, the main difference between the two is the amount of insulation that's in them. So if you're like me, the Tundra Heavy is a bit on the warm side. It's a little bit heavier, so if you're going to be hiking or backpacking into somewhere and you were wanting to shave weight and you run on that warmer side, the Tundra Lite might be a better option for you. If you run a bit on the cold side, just go with the Tundra Heavy. The big differences I'll show you right now is the Tundra Heavy does have these pit zips, which do allow you to vent heat if you want to. They also have the reinforced elbow pads where the Lite does not. That's a big high wear area where you may get rips and tears, and so having that little extra support is a nice feature. However, it does add weight. The Tundra Heavy is significantly heavier than the Tundra Lite, so if you are trying to shave weight on your backpacking setup, I would just go with the Tundra Lite, and that will get you through all of September and maybe into October. Okay, the main features of the Tundra jacket: 2 hand pockets down low, 2 inside mesh pockets. I like to use this to keep things warm that I want to keep warm. For an example, if it's really cold out, a lot of times I'll throw my steri pin in there to warm it up before I use it. Otherwise, like keep snacks like RX bars get really hard if they get cold. Throw them in there, warm them up. The Tundra Lite jacket does not have the pit zips like the Tundra Heavy, and the really cool feature of both Tundra jackets is this little mesh stretchy spot. I have not seen this on any other jackets. This allows you, when you're putting the jacket on or taking it off over like a pair of gloves, it allows a little bit of stretch in the fabric. So this fabric has 0 stretch whatsoever. It's great for windproofing, but it doesn't stretch at all. They added this little mesh patch of fabric on the end of the sleeve to make it much easier to get your hand in and out when you're taking the jacket on and off, which I end up taking my Puffy on and off quite a bit in September. If I'm sitting to glass, throw it on real quick. When I get up to move, peel it off so I can hike without sweating too much. Now, I'm going to go over the differences between the Stone Glacier Cirque Lite and the Tundra Lite jacket. These would be something that you might be looking at buying one or the other. And I'm going to kind of go over the differences and maybe where you would want to go with one versus the other. The Tundra Lite jacket is much more windproof. This fabric is much more windproof than the Cirque Lite. It's going to be a little bit warmer, and it is a little lighter. And one of the big reasons it's a little lighter is because of the fabric they use on the Stone Glacier. This fabric is quite a bit quieter. So if you're somebody who runs cold and you want like a more insulated puffy layer but still walk around in the woods with it on, this is going to be a little bit quieter while you're moving. It doesn't have that swoosh swoosh. And part of that reason is because on the inside of the jacket, and I'll throw this on so that you can see. So the high heat areas and the high abrasion areas where you would rub against each other are this, it's a grid fleece material that has a little bit of a stretch to it. So this section of the jacket is not windproof at all, but it allows the heat to dissipate more. I ended up using this a lot in September, but I did notice that if the wind picked up, you could feel it through the sides. So it wasn't quite as warm as like a traditional type puffy like the Tundra Lite. The other feature I like on this one is they put the pockets a little bit higher, and it's kind of a little nuanced thing. If you're going to wear your puffy while wearing a backpack, having those pockets up higher, if you're somebody who likes to have your hands in your pockets like I do, you can still have your pack with the waist belt buckled and still easily get into your pockets. I really like that. Some people prefer to have the pockets down lower. It's a little bit more comfortable if you're just casually wearing it around outside, or if you don't have your pack on and you're just standing there kind of waiting around for something, it's a little bit more comfortable to have your pockets down low. But I do prefer the higher pockets when I'm wearing a backpack. Here's how I use puffy jackets a lot of the times. I am a really sweaty dude. When I hike up to a glassing spot, 9 times out of 10, I'm soaked. My base layer is wet, but I've created a ton of heat with my body. What I end up doing is I get up there, I might let my base layer dry out a little bit, and then I throw one of these puffies on over top of it, and then I can sit down and my body heat will actually dry out my base layers while I'm wearing a puffy. However, if you have a down puffy, you don't want to do this because that moisture is going to be pushed into the down of the fabrics or of the puffy, and that down will get clumpy and it won't work as well. If you have a synthetic puffy, you can throw it on that your body is going to dry out your base layer, and it's going to push all that moisture out through your puffy jacket. It takes far less energy to dry out a synthetic fabric or a synthetic filled puffy than it does a down filled puffy. And if you don't believe me, throw 2 puffies into a dryer, one down, one synthetic, and see which one dries out faster. I've taken a puffy because I was being lazy one time. It was pouring down rain. I threw my synthetic puffy on, drove my 4-wheeler down to camp. I was completely soaked, but I just took my synthetic puffy off, hung it up in the tent. By the next morning, it had dried out, and so I was able to reuse it. You would not be able to do that with a down. Downs are great for saving weight. The warmth to weight ratio on a down jacket or even a down sleeping bag over in synthetic is generally significantly higher. Warmth rating of a down jacket is going to be significantly lighter than the same rating of a synthetic. But the downside of the down is that if you do get it wet, it takes forever to dry out. So for us, especially in the Northwest or anywhere it rains, which is pretty much anywhere elk live, I prefer a synthetic over a down jacket. All right, to recap, I just want to go over when you would pick which one. If you're cold-blooded, just get the Tundra Heavy. I've even seen Dan wear both of these jackets at the same time, which to me was crazy, but that works for him. If you want something that you're going to be able to move around a bit more without making as much noise, get the Cirque Lite jacket. Like I said, I used it throughout September. It worked really great. However, if you get into really windy conditions, you're going to want to put something over top of it because it does not cut the wind through the sides. If you want a light jacket that's going to keep you warm and is more wind resistant, so the only time you're going to put it on is if you get up to your glassing spot, you want to throw it on, keep warm while you're glassing first thing in the morning or just before dark, then go with the Tundra Lite. I hope this helps you in your decision on which jacket to get, whether it's the Tundra Lite, the Tundra Heavy, or maybe the Stone Glacier Cirque Lite. All of them are great jackets. They're purpose built for different purposes, and I hope this helps you make informed decisions on your gear choices. Like always, thank you for watching this gear channel. We appreciate your support. You can help us out a lot by hitting the subscribe button, and we'll catch you on the next one.